Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're at a social event, maybe a pool party or a summer barbecue, and it seems like everyone around you is a walking art gallery. Your friends are comparing new ink, and even your older relatives are showing off a discreet symbol on their ankle. Everyone is sharing the story behind their latest piece, a permanent marker of a memory, a passion, or a phase. Meanwhile, you're standing there, feeling conspicuously plain, your skin completely unadorned. People might even comment, asking you when you're finally going to get one, as if it's an inevitable rite of passage you've somehow missed. You feel like the odd one out, the classic novel in a library filled with graphic novels. It can make you feel like you're missing a chapter that everyone else has read. But what if that blank space on your skin isn't an empty page at all? What if your blank skin isn't an empty space? It's a deliberate statement. A choice that's more psychologically complex and profound than most people realize. Have you ever wondered if your preference is just a simple quirk of your personality? Or could it be a sign of a deeper psychological blueprint? This feeling of being different isn't just in your head. In many Western cultures, having at least one tattoo is quickly becoming the norm rather than the exception. So if you've ever felt like an outsider for your choice, you're about to discover that you are part of a fascinating and thoughtful group. Now, before we dive into the deep psychology that I've promised, let's do something important. This is the pattern interrupt. We need to get the simple, practical reasons out on the table first. For many people, the decision is straightforward and has nothing to do with deep psychological drivers. Some people simply don't like the way tattoos look, and that is a perfectly valid aesthetic preference. Others are concerned about the cost because quality body art is a significant financial investment. There are also completely valid health concerns or a low tolerance for the pain involved in the process. So if your reason is, "I just don't want one," then congratulations, you know your own mind, and that's all that matters. This video isn't here to invalidate those reasons. It's here to acknowledge them and then go a level deeper. This video is for those of you who have always felt there's something more to your choice. A feeling you couldn't quite put into words. If you've ever felt that your decision stems from a fundamental part of who you are, then you are in the right place. Today, we are going to explore 4 profound psychological frameworks that explain this choice. These are concepts that go far beyond the surface-level explanations. We'll dissect everything from your sense of identity to your perception of the future. And stick around until the end, because our final point isn't just psychology. It's a beautiful philosophical reason for keeping your skin clear that most people have never considered. So, with the practical reasons on the table, let's dive into the real psychology. The first reason is all about where you believe your identity truly comes from. Psychologists call this concept an internal locus of control. It's a bit of a technical term, but the idea behind it is incredibly simple and powerful. People with a high internal locus of control feel that their sense of self, their worth, and their identity are generated from within. They don't require external symbols or validation to feel whole or to understand who they are. Their identity is a deeply felt internal state of being, not a collection of external labels. Think of it like this. Some people build a house and feel the need to cover it in murals and signs to tell the world what it stands for. Someone with a high internal locus of control builds a house with such strong foundations and incredible internal design that they feel no need to decorate the outside. The structure's quality is self-evident to them, and that is all that matters. For these individuals, a tattoo can feel redundant, like pinning a label on something that needs no introduction. They might love art, they might appreciate tattoos on others, but for their own body, it feels like an unnecessary addition. Their love for their family, their passion for music, their life philosophy are lived, breathed, and felt every single day. They don't need a permanent reminder etched into their skin, because the meaning is already etched into their soul. This isn't to say that people who get tattoos have an external locus of control. That's far too simplistic. Human psychology is a spectrum, not a binary choice. However, for those who lean heavily towards an internal sense of self, the drive to mark the body is significantly lower. Their self-concept is not written in ink. It is demonstrated through action, thought, and character. They are the authors of their own story, and they feel no need to publish the summary on their skin. This perspective is about self-sufficiency in identity. It's a quiet confidence that who you are is more than enough, without any added symbols. It's the belief that your life's work is the masterpiece, not the decorations you pick up along the way. So if you've ever felt that you simply don't need an external marker to know who you are, you likely have a very strong internal locus of control. It's a sign of a self-contained and deeply anchored identity. This isn't about being better, but about having a different operating system for your sense of self. Your meaning is intrinsic, not applied. It's a core belief that you are already complete, that your identity isn't something you write on your skin, it's something you live in your soul. This foundational sense of self provides a powerful, often unspoken reason to remain tattoo-free. It's the anchor that holds you steady in a sea of changing trends. They see their actions and choices as the primary text of their life. External symbols for them are merely footnotes. This is a testament to a well-defined inner world. It's not about rejecting expression, but about choosing a different medium for it. Your life itself becomes the canvas and the art. This is the first powerful psychological pillar. The second reason moves from identity to aesthetics, but with a unique psychological twist. We'll call it aesthetic permanence anxiety. This isn't just a general fear of regret. It's a very specific, sophisticated awareness of how much our tastes evolve over time. Many people who avoid tattoos are not indecisive in life. They can commit to careers, relationships, and major life projects with confidence. But committing to a single piece of art, a single font, a single visual style for the rest of their lives feels like a fundamentally different and frankly impossible choice. Imagine you had to pick one outfit today and wear it every single day for the next 50 years. It's a paralyzing thought, isn't it? The shirt you love today might feel cringeworthy in a decade. The style that feels edgy and modern right now will inevitably become dated. People who experience aesthetic permanence anxiety are acutely aware of this cycle. They have a vivid imagination for their future self, and they respect that future self's right to have different tastes. Think about the music you loved, the posters on your wall, the haircut you had 10 years ago. For many of us, looking back at our past aesthetic choices brings a mix of nostalgia and profound relief that they were temporary. Now here's a question for you to really let sink in. Think about the art or design you were obsessed with 10 years ago. Would you want it permanently displayed on your body today? For many people, the honest answer is a resounding no. That feeling, that sharp intake of breath at the thought of being stuck with your 2014 self's idea of cool is the very essence of aesthetic permanence anxiety. It's not a fear of commitment, but a deep respect for personal evolution. It's the wisdom to know that who you are today is just one frame in the long movie of your life. You value your future freedom to change your mind more than you value the present desire for a specific look. This mindset often correlates with a high degree of openness to experience, one of the big 5 personality traits. These individuals love novelty, art, and new ideas, which is precisely why they're hesitant to lock one version of it down. They want to remain free to fall in love with new styles, new aesthetics, and new forms of expression as they grow. They see their body as a clean gallery space, ready for whatever exhibition comes next, rather than a wall with a permanent mural. So if you resonate with this, you're not flaky or indecisive. You are what we could call an aesthetic futurist. You are planning for a future self you haven't even met yet. You are preserving your own capacity for change and reinvention. This is a sophisticated form of future-proofing your own identity. You understand that your tastes will mature, shift, and sometimes completely reverse. It's a form of long-term thinking applied to your own visual identity. This foresight is a unique kind of intelligence. It is the acknowledgement that growth is constant, and you refuse to let your present self make a permanent decision for all your future selves. This is a profound act of kindness to the person you will become. By the way, if exploring the hidden blueprints of why you think the way you do resonates with you, this is exactly what we do here. Take a second to hit that subscribe button to join our community of deep thinkers. It's the best way to make sure you don't miss our future explorations into the psychology of everyday life. Okay, so we've talked about your internal world and your future self. But it's not just about your future self. It's also about society. And this next point might be a little controversial. What if I told you that in many circles today, choosing not to get a tattoo is the true act of non-conformity? Let's be honest, tattoos have undergone a massive cultural shift. What was once the mark of a rebel, an outsider, or a member of a subculture has now become incredibly mainstream. From baristas to bankers, from college students to CEOs, tattoos are everywhere. They have become a widely accepted, even expected form of personal expression. This creates a fascinating paradox for the genuinely nonconformist individual. When an act of rebellion becomes the norm, is it still rebellion? It's like when a punk rock band that once played in dingy basements starts selling out stadiums and has their t-shirts in every major retail store. The spirit of counterculture has been absorbed, packaged, and sold back to the masses. For some people, this is where the rejection of performative individuality comes in. They look at the sea of curated sleeves and meaningful quotes and see a new kind of social uniform. A uniform of trying to look unique in a very similar way. These individuals aren't against tattoos themselves, but they are wary of what they perceive as consumerist individuality. The idea that you can purchase a personality or signal your depth through a transaction. Their nonconformity is quieter, deeper, and based on principles rather than aesthetics. They choose to define themselves through their actions, their ideas, and their character, not through the symbols they display. When everyone is shouting to be different in the same way, silence becomes a statement. Choosing to have unmarked skin in this context can be a deliberate and powerful rejection of the pressure to brand oneself. It's a quiet protest against the commercialization of identity. My individuality is not for sale or for show. It is something I live, not something I wear. This is a very subtle but profound form of rebellion. It's swimming against the current, not with loud splashes, but with a quiet, determined stroke. It's the ultimate show, don't tell philosophy of identity. This person doesn't need to tell you they're unique or interesting. They trust that you will see it in how they think, how they speak, and how they live. For them, true rebellion isn't about looking different, it's about thinking different. And in a world where everyone is curating a visual brand, their lack of a brand becomes the most unique statement of all. It's a form of minimalism that extends to their personal presentation. They are opting out of the visual arms race of individuality. This is a conscious uncoupling from trend-based identity. Their confidence comes from their substance, not their surface. It's a bold stance in a world obsessed with appearances. This quiet rebellion is a cornerstone for many who choose to abstain. This brings us to our final and perhaps most profound reason. Beyond psychology, there's a deeper, almost spiritual reason. It comes down to a fundamental question: what is the body for? And here we find a beautiful philosophical split. We can call it the sanctuary versus the canvas. Both perspectives are rooted in appreciation and respect, but they manifest in opposite ways. First, let's look at the canvas philosophy. This is the view that the body is a beautiful blank canvas, and life is an opportunity to adorn it with art that reflects our journey, our passions, and our identity. From this perspective, adding a tattoo is an act of co-creation with one's own body. It's about making the external match the internal. It's a celebration of experience, memorialized in ink. This is a valid and beautiful way to see the world and one's place in it. But there is an equally valid opposing philosophy, the body as a sanctuary. From this viewpoint, the body is not a blank canvas to be improved upon. It is a sacred, natural, and complete form in its own right. It's seen as a vessel, a home for the spirit, or simply a masterpiece of biological engineering that is perfect as it is. To the person who sees their body as a sanctuary, adding a permanent mark feels like graffiti on a temple wall or building a new structure in the middle of a pristine national park. Their appreciation is expressed through preservation, not decoration. They find beauty in the body's natural lines, its scars from a life lived, and its changes over time. Their goal is not to add to the body, but to inhabit it as fully and cleanly as possible. This isn't a judgment on those who decorate. It's a fundamentally different form of reverence. It's a kind of organic minimalism. This philosophy says that the human form, in its natural state, is the ultimate work of art. It needs no further embellishment to be beautiful or meaningful. So when someone with this view chooses not to get a tattoo, it's not out of fear or lack of passion. It is an active philosophical choice to honor their body in its original, unedited form. They see their skin not as a surface to be written upon, but as the sacred boundary between their inner world and the outer world. Some see the body as a canvas to be painted. Others see it as a sanctuary to be preserved. Neither view is right or wrong, but understanding which one you subscribe to can unlock a profound understanding of your own choices. It's a deeply personal answer to a deeply personal question. This view values the intrinsic over the extrinsic. It's a reverence for the natural form. It explains so much without judgment. Okay, so we've journeyed through some very deep psychological and philosophical territory. This is all fascinating theory, but how does it help you in the real world? Let's shift from theory to practice. We all know that awkward moment at a party or family dinner when someone turns to you and asks, "So, why don't you have any tattoos?" It can feel like you're being put on the spot, asked to defend a choice you've barely articulated to yourself. But now you have the language to answer with confidence and intelligence. You don't need to give a long lecture, but you can have a short, powerful response ready. Here are a few options you can adapt based on the concepts we discussed. If you resonate with aesthetic permanence anxiety, you could say something light and thoughtful, like, "I'm just too aware of how much my tastes change. I'd rather keep my options open for the person I'll be in 10 years. This reframes you not as indecisive, but as forward-thinking. If you connect with the idea of non-conformity, you could offer a slightly provocative and witty response like, "Honestly, in a world where everyone has them, I feel like not having one is my own little act of rebellion." This is the time to shine. And if you align with our final point, you can share something more philosophical and personal. "That's a great question. I guess I've always seen my body more as a sanctuary to be preserved than a canvas to be painted." This response is powerful because it's not a judgment, but a statement of personal philosophy. It validates both choices while confidently explaining your own. The goal isn't to win a debate, it's to graciously and confidently articulate your position. Having these phrases in your back pocket turns an awkward moment into an opportunity for an interesting conversation. It empowers you to own your choice. So let's bring it all together. The choice to remain tattoo-free is rarely a passive one. For many, it is a deeply conscious decision woven from the threads of their core psychology. It's not about being boring, scared, or unexpressive. It's about having a strong internal locus of control, where your identity is built from the inside out. It's about having the aesthetic foresight to respect your future self's freedom to evolve. It's about a quiet, powerful form of non-conformity that rejects performative individuality. And for some, it is a profound philosophical choice to view the body as a sanctuary, perfect in its natural state. Remember that feeling from the beginning of being the weird one in a room full of ink? Hopefully, you now see that your choice isn't weird at all. It's deliberate. It's a testament to how you think about identity, time, society, and even the nature of your own body. You are not an empty canvas. You are a complete work, authored by your own principles. This is your psychological blueprint, and it is just as valid, complex, and meaningful as any other. So the next time you look at your own unadorned skin, don't see an absence. See a presence of choice, of thought, and of a quiet confidence. Because in the end, meaning is not something you wear, it's something you become. If this video helped you understand yourself a little better, or just made you think differently, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're building a community here for people who enjoy thinking differently about the world. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these reasons resonated most, or do you have a completely different one? Let everyone know in the comments below. It's always fascinating to see the diversity of thought. And if you enjoyed this, you might also like our video on the psychology of people who prefer to be alone, which you can find right here. Thanks for watching.